we all want to be big and masculine and strong and all types of muscles everywhere until motherfucking Miko beat your ass up. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm tripping. Okay, yeah. But we all want to, like, you know, bodybuild and look, you know, super awesome and aesthetic. And, you know, it's really a good boost of confidence to have that going for yourself when your muscles are popping. I know for me, back in the day when I got abs, I felt much better about myself. And I was like, wow, like, you know, I look great, even though probably looking back at some of those pictures at that time, probably didn't look as good as I thought I did. But maybe for people in high school, kid in high school, I looked all right. High school, middle school, whatever. So I get it. You want to be able to have, you know, a great body and look great. And as you should definitely train to maximize your muscles, maximize your aesthetics and the whole entire thing. But you want to make sure that you're also prioritizing knowing how to fight as a man and knowing a martial art, whether that be this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, obviously Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing itself, whatever it may be for you that you enjoy. I think it's very imperative that you take a step back and you actually go ahead and learn a skill that you can apply to be more functional and be able to move a little bit better and be fluid. Because, like, imagine being like the biggest dude ever, like big ass neck, you know, you're huge, and you get into a fight and some dude who's like a third of your size just, like, you know, dices you up, you know, real quick, because you have no type of skills. You're too big, you can't move. Maybe you're too, like, you know, you're too brolic and stocky, so you have a hard time moving a little bit, and you don't prioritize your stretching. I posted a stretching routine video. You should go back and watch that if you don't stretch. You need to be stretching every day. But, like, maybe you're not doing those things, so it's like you have a hard time being able to protect yourself if you ever need to be. And here's the thing, is like, we're not walking around getting ready for a fight and trying to, like, press any dude we see, trying to be in a fight, yada, yada, yada. But, like, we want to make sure we have that confidence to know that if something were to go down, we are prepared. There is, like, a different level of confidence you gain from bodybuilding and getting aesthetics to actually learning how to fight. I can't even begin to tell you guys, when I learned how to box and how to properly throw a punch, properly get my footwork together a little bit, and I've only been doing this for like 3-4 months. I'm not like the end all be all best fighter, boxer ever. Please do not take that as like that. But when that happened for me and I knew how to properly do some things, I was like, whoa. Like, I really felt like that dude, and I felt super confident in myself, and I felt like that anywhere I went, I was protected. Like, I don't feel like that if I go anywhere, naturally I'm a bigger guy already and I'm muscular and the whole entire thing, but now that I know I can fight and I'm confident, I've sparred, I've done the whole thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, it's cool. It's cool. So you want to make sure that, like, you're doing this because you overcome a lot of fear when you get in that match against somebody. If it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're wrestling with somebody and I haven't done a lot of that, so I can't speak to all the technique of it, but, like, you know, you're actually having to go up and down with somebody and being able to really see where you land and what type of dudes you can fight, who you can take on. Obviously, for me in boxing, if you're sparring certain types of people, that can be kind of scary when you first hop in the ring, right? Like, we all want to believe how we would be in a fight. We all want to tell ourselves, oh, I know, if I was in a fight, dude, I'd knock this dude out. And you talk our shit as dudes for our ego because we want to feel good. But the reality is that you probably don't know how you would be in a fight. And when you get into a real fight, like, things get tense. You get maybe a little bit tight. Your not anxiety, but, like, you know, like, everything around you feels like it's really high in pressure. And, you know, there's just so much adrenaline. That's what I was looking for. Adrenaline, like, going around. And it's hard for you to be able to really even recognize if you're doing this correctly, if you're protecting yourself, thinking about everything. You're kind of just maybe locked into what's going on. So if you've never been in that type of scenario before, then how do you know you're going to be well prepared if it does happen to you in your life, right? So hopping in that ring for me, I know when I first got in the ring, I mean, I would say the dude I fought, he was smaller than me, you know, so I had, like, some strength to it and I could protect myself a little bit, but I would say I got my ass beat, like, boxing, like, straight up I did. Because he was a little bit more trained than I was, and he was able to really dissect me a little bit better. And also, I was probably a little bit nervous my first couple rounds because I was like, dude, this dude's actually throwing punches at me, right? And then as time went on, I got better and got more comfortable, ended up being a better experience. But for the first beginning, like, you know, we're doing the first 2 rounds, he's just throwing jabs. He was popping me. I was boom, you know, like, and I was like, damn, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, because you've never really been in that scenario or setting. Like, I've been in fights when I was younger, little, whatever, but not like a real fight. And being in some type of martial art is a great way to be in a controlled setting where there's people around you where if something is going wrong, they can stop it. Coach can be like, all right, chill out. You know what I mean? So you don't get too badly hurt, while also being able to practice your skills, gain some confidence, and be able to throw those punches back. You know, another big reason too is like long-term vitality, right? Like, let's be real, when you're 60 and 70 years old, you know, all the weightlifting you did will carry over and maybe give you some better strength, maybe bone health, whatever it may be when you are older. But you also want to make sure you're flexible. You want to make sure you can move. And that's what's going to keep you healthy for like past those 60, 70 years, you know, of age, when you do get to that point of becoming an older man. So being able to be fluid, being able to move, all comes through fighting, because you loosen up. Like, I cannot even begin to tell you, when I first started boxing and I was throwing like my left hook, I was super tight. And actually, sometimes I'm a really of a tight person anyways. But when I got into it and started working on the technique and just loosen it up, like my hook just started throwing, you know? And that's how you want it to be. You want to get to the point where your body is just loose, you're fluid, you know? And of course, like, there's different things you can do outside of training for a martial art or like weightlifting that can help you to loosen up. But I think like training in a martial art is one of the best ways to kind of get the best of both worlds, because you have to be flexible. You have to move your joints in a different way, move your muscles in a different way. But also at the same point, you know, you are learning a skill that you can actually apply, or may need to have to be able to apply at some point in your life, right? And lifting heavy does take a toll on you, right? And that is true. Like, we've seen studies and statistics that show that over time, the heavier you lift, you know, you could end up hurting yourself. Of course, if you're one back injury away from dealing with it for the rest of your life. I've already had ACL surgery on my knee before, not from lifting, but from football. And I know that will affect my lifting going forward, and has affected me in different ways already. So, you know, you want to be able to last for your whole entire life, not just in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s. You want to be a man that can be able to be fit, muscular, built, have great conditioning, heart health, right? You know, getting that cardio in for yourself. All those things, you want to be able to have that at an older age. And the only way you can do that is by making sure that you're prioritizing things that move your body a lot, while also, again, you know, having a skill that loosens you up and just teaches you how to be able to move a little bit, the footwork, all those things. I think there's nothing better than learning a martial art to help you get to that point. Another big reason too is that women will respect you more, right? And I've seen this kind of happen in my life as I got into a martial art and learning how to fight. Women kind of like, that turns them on a little bit. They're kind of like, oh wow, like, this dude, he can protect me. This is a real dude, right? So think about like how women's brains are designed. They're not much different than they were thousands of years ago. And thousands of years ago, like, women saw gladiators, they saw Spartans, men who went over and conquered countries and then came back to his woman, and she was enamored by him because he just like took over everything and protected her children, you know, saved the land, brought food back, whatever it may have been. He was a hunter. He conquered, right? And then now we're looking thousands of years later, and we don't have to do those things necessarily anymore. But think about her brain. Like, she still has like those primal instincts that like she wants to be with a man who can conquer, who is strong, is confident in himself. And if you can fight and you can do these things, how do you think she's going to view you? She's going to be like, wow, that dude can really protect me. Wow, that dude is a strong man, where if something were to happen, I can trust that he can be able to step in and take care of what he needs to take care of, right? So even today, she wants to be invigorated by that inner Spartan in you. She wants to feel you being able to take over and just ravish everything and conquer everything, right? And so if you want to be better with your woman and want to get more respect, or for her to admire you more, consider this as an avenue for you as well to go take that next step, so that she's like, that's a dude, you know what I mean? That's a dude that I want to be around, that I want to be with. Okay, so book recommendation time. If you haven't read this already, I recommend you read The Way of the Superior Man by David Dieta. And the reason why I say this is because, relating to our topic, right? Your woman wants to be able to know that you're capable of killing, capable of taking life, dying for her and dying for your family, but she also wants to know that you're in control enough not to actually do it. That's something that I learned in this book. And let me repeat, she wants to know that you are capable of being a killer, capable of taking life, capable of dying for her and her family, her kids, your family, while also knowing that you're in control enough not to actually do it. What does that actually mean though, right? Doesn't mean that she wants you to be in your brain having intrusive thoughts all the time about murder. Like, no. What it means is that, actually, it's better if I give an example. Imagine if you are in the house, right, and you're sleeping in bed with your wife and your kids are asleep, and someone breaks in. They've threatened you, they've threatened your wife, they've threatened your kids. They threatened your whole entire family is at risk now because this person broke into your home and wanted to take something from you, whatever it may have been. Your woman wants to know that you're willing to go down those stairs and defend your family and their honor and your honor to the death until one of you guys dies. Imagine if you rolled over to bed and looked at her and went, hey babe, go downstairs, something happened, something's going on. Do you think that she would have respect for you? You think that she would be able to admire you and want you to stay around her children any longer? Do you think the divorce is incoming, like probably tomorrow? Like, let's be real. Those things is the truth, because in the day, she would rather you die. She would never say this, right? But she would rather you die in defending your family than for you to stay alive and maybe she does something to fix the problem and you looked over at her. The respect for you would go down to zero, right? And that's why learning a martial art is so key, because you never know when you're going to have to need that skill. It doesn't have to be something as drastic as someone breaking in, right? It could be something like on the street, you're with your girl and someone disrespects her. What are you going to do in that moment? If you don't know how to do anything, I'm not saying you have to resort straight to fighting, but how I would look at it in my situation, if I was with my girl and some dude maybe slapped her on the ass or did something and violated her, touched her any type of way, my girl's an extension of me, right? So if you touched her, you might as well just have touched me. We might as well have like pushed me or punched me or something, because it's the same thing to me in my brain, right? You touch anybody I love, any woman I love, that's my mom, my sister, anybody, like that's an extension of me. So I want to know if in that situation happens, I can defend her honor, I can defend myself, and that I'm comfortable being able to press the situation when it happens, right? So I'm actually going to read to you a portion out of The Way of the Superior Man. And do you think that like I just made this up? Like literally chapter 37, I don't know if you can see that there. She wants the killer in you, right? So this is kind of the first excerpt here. So, among many other qualities, a woman wants the killer in her man. She is turned off if her man is afraid and wants her to kill the cockroach or the mouse while he stands on a chair and watches. She is turned off if her man wants her to get out of bed in order to check out the strange sounds in the house to find if a burglar made the noise. Fearlessness, or the capacity to transcend the fear of death for the sake of love, is a quintessential form of the ultimate masculine gift, right? And then he goes on to say, although your woman doesn't want you to be a killer, she is turned on by your capacity to kill. So again, it's not that like she's looking at you to go and do horrible things out of no reason, but she feels more comfortable and confident if you can. I mean, think about how things are in society today. As a woman, it can be kind of tough. I mean, think about it. You're catcalled. There's a lot of, sex trafficking things going on. You hear a lot of women are getting put in compromising situations a lot of times with certain types of men. And for a lot of women, it can be scary. Like they see a lot of men as like monsters, as scary. So think about it. When she looks at you, she kind of like sees you as like her own personal monster. And if you think about this in like overall and over time, you see that like this archetype has always been there. Think about Beauty and the Beast in Disney, right? Like women love the idea of having some type of monster strong figure to protect them, because it's like they have their own personal monster to be able to support them if something were to happen, right? And as men, we get sometimes frustrated with this. We get mad because like we get mad at her for wanting the dude who's 6 foot plus, does all these different types of things, masculine, really built. We're like, man, you want the perfect dude, But the reality is that she is trained to do this for survival. As a woman, she's trained to look for the top tier dude, because if she doesn't find him, that could be life or death for her. And think about in a situation where she's walking down the street one night and maybe she's with a dude who can't defend her in that type of way and something happens to her. Well, if she goes for a man who she knows has all the physical attributes that maybe even like thwarts dudes from even coming near her. Because sometimes if you're like a really big dude, like, people won't even like press you. They don't even want to like have the issue, right? So she wants that guy who like keeps issues away from her. And then if anything were to happen, she can trust that you can defend her. She can trust that you're willing to kill for her, that you're willing to die for her and her family and your family, right? So these are the reasons why I believe that, learning to fight is imperative for you as a man, because it can not only change your life and change your confidence and your demeanor as you walk through your daily life, but as you move into having a woman there alongside of you, she's going to want to feel that masculine strength within you, and you're going to need to have that, right? And it's not just lifting weights. I mean, as good as this sounds and as good as it feels to push 315 pounds on the bench press, like, dude, there's dudes, like, if Gervonta Davis walks up to you, dude's a small dude, he's not a big guy, but if he lands that left hook, you're getting knocked. I don't care how big you are, right? So you want to go take a step back and go, what do I need to do to make myself the ultimate man, a man that my woman, my family, and even myself, I can trust, right? And I think that taking that next step of learning that martial art, it would be key for you and will help you go to that next level within your life. So with that, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I love you guys as always. You guys for always supporting me and supporting the channel. Any other questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out on my Instagram, all my other social medias, whatever it may be. And with that, more life, more everything.